the long anticipated episode with my first mentor. He's, helped me make my first million.
Freedom's important to me. If I could make way more money, but I would limit freedom, I wouldn't do it. Once my blog made $3,000 a month, I walked away from personal training because university 30, 40 years ago made sense. Now, everything you possibly could know is available online.
On YouTube.
When you want to be an entrepreneur, 80, 90% of the classes and the stuff you're learning is kind of like, do I need this?
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Bridging the Gap. I'm your host, Bridger Rogers, and today, the long anticipated episode with my first mentor. This is someone that is easily the most impactful person in my life. We met at the age of 17, interviewed him for my senior project in high school, and he's been mentoring me for the past 7-8 years. He's, helped me make my first million. He's helped me get into movie star shape. He's helped me with my dating life. He's helped me become really a man over the last 7 years. And he's also been a mentor and coach to hundreds of thousands of people, generated tens of millions online, built a world-renowned brand called Kinobody. And I think it's somebody that if you don't know who he is, which it's kind of hard not to, he's all over the internet. I think you're going to walk away with a new perspective on living what Greg calls the movie star life.
Thank you, man. Exactly right. I appreciate being here, and it's been fun to watch you evolve and grow and be that mentor role for you. So I'm pumped to be here, and this is quite the awesome setup you have here. I'm enjoying the studio.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, you're flew all the way in from Toronto. So
flew in from Toronto, and I was in Toronto, and Canada's cold, right? It's November. Canada's cold. I get into Arizona, freezing at night. Freezing. I'm like, they're talking about Canada, but no, Arizona is literally the coldest place I've been to.
Isn't that crazy?
But I like it. I like the cold nights,
Yeah, and then it's warm during the day, sunny.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, Greg O'Gallagher is on the podcast today, guys, and we're going to dive deep into a bunch of stuff. We're going to cover, if you're watching this, if you always wanted a mentor, maybe you didn't grow up with a strong mentor or role model in your life, you want to meet somebody that can help pour into you, then we're going to pull back the curtains on how our relationship unfolded. We're going to talk about how Greg's really built Kinobody, an empire that has impacted hundreds of thousands of people. And I think it's going to be fun because, you and I have been doing content for a long time, bro.
Long time, man. And you know what? We just dropped, this is my first podcast that we talked about it. We just dropped the brand new Kino Octane. We worked for a long time to just get the flavor freaking flawless, and we pumped it up to 30 servings. 30.
Wow,
we pumped up 30
that's
servings.
Good value.
We didn't change the price.
That's 30% value.
Yeah, 40% increase from 21 to 30. Yeah, so this stuff's insane.
I'm actually drinking it right now.
You know what? You know what's funny? It's a cheers. It's a pre-workout, but we have tons of people using it for focus, for energy, like as a daily energy boost. So I will sometimes kick my day off the Octane. I get like that amazing heightened focus from the L-theanine and caffeine. It's like a nootropic, and I get the blood flow, the energy's up, and then I'll just have a coffee later. So I'll kick the day off with the Octane just to get that flow state.
Yeah. Dude, I've been taking Octane since I was like 17.
Wow.
Shit's crazy. I took my first scoop when I came out to the Kino Mansion.
Wow.
At 18, bro.
Oh, very, very cool, man. Very cool.
Great. So, and then the Mojo, dude. Listen, the Mojo has changed my life. I mean, let me just grab this bottle right here. Like, talk about the Mojo because, guys, like, listen, I have naturally high testosterone. We got it tested. It's about 800, 900 total. But the free was very low. It was like 5.7. 5.7
nanograms per deciliter. So essentially what was happening was your body was using less than 10% of free, right? Or no, sorry, less than 1% of free because you had 800, and then you were under. So like the average is 2%, right? So most people 2% of the total testosterone is free. That is what can exert its function on the cells, help with muscle growth. And so for you, you weren't using that. Like a lot of it was bound up to different proteins, and so the Mojo, it increased your total a little bit, but really what it did was increased free testosterone. So the ingredients inside help reduce sex hormone binding globulin, which lowers your free. So you likely had a very high sex hormone binding globulin. We brought that down, and now you have more free testosterone that you can actually utilize. So yeah, all the benefits that people talk about that are around testosterone are really free testosterone. So you really want to look at free testosterone. Yeah.
Crazy. And after I started taking this, not even like, was it 90 days, less than 90 days?
Insane.
Got it retested. It was like 17.2.
And we're doing a new Mojo formula that's coming out in the next couple months.
Oh, shit.
So all the subscribers are going to get it. And we've pumped up the Tonga Elite to 400 milligrams.
No.
So we're going harder
Yeah, because I
on
used to 4-cap. You used to say always 4-cap.
4-cap. We're going harder on the, 400 milligrams is as high as you'd want to go if you're going to be taking it long term.
Yeah.
And then we're also increasing the zinc a little bit, and we're adding in vitamin D and K2. So vitamin D is important for testosterone production. And, I told people take vitamin D separately, but now we're going to be putting it into the Mojo with the K2, which is really good for bone health and good for your teeth as well. So the Mojo is amazing, and it's like, the last thing I'll say really about it is that it is fun to have high free testosterone. It feels amazing. You have that je ne sais quoi. You're excited. You're excited to work out. You're excited to be ambitious, to hit your goals. You're excited to go approach a beautiful woman. It just is like that missing link. Like if you don't have that, you're missing that je ne sais quoi. Like everyone wants to be young, right? No one wants to be old, right? When you have a higher free T, it connects you with feeling young and feeling great. And so we have guys in their 40s, 50s taking this. They're waking up with rock hard wood, iron rods. And it's like amazing. So like when you lose that T, when you lose that libido, life just feels a bit more dull. And so it's an amazing feeling. Yes, when you get your free T up, you're going to be more driven to work out. You're going to get a little bit more muscle gains. But really, it's the feeling of Mojo that is what I love about it the most. The feeling of Mojo. And, your T levels can dip. Like if you're having a period where you're not sleeping as well, maybe stress is high, your diet is off. Even a lot of people wear tons of cologne. They do cologne, and it's not just spraying cologne. Their body wash is filled with phthalates and scents. They're using air fresheners in their car, in their home. Their deodorant is just loaded with artificial fragrance. Their face washes, their hair products. So people are putting in massive amounts of endocrine disruptors literally on themselves daily that shut off their T. It's a huge one that people don't talk about enough. Like these different phthalates and compounds from cologne, from fragrance, literally can mimic testosterone and bind to the receptors. And so then you don't get anything out of your testosterone. So you want to eliminate all artificial scented products. You want to use natural products. Sometimes I'm in the gym and I can, like, someone is 10 feet away and they just have such a strong scent from like all that artificial fragrance. It drives me crazy. So sometimes get into an Uber. And I'm like, oh my God, this scent's gonna stay with me for like the rest of my life, dude. Like easy on the air freshener here. Like, what are we doing? Like if I go on a date, I will tell a girl ahead of time, no sense. Yeah, skip the perfume.
What do you think of Jeremy Fragrance?
I don't really know much about him. People have tagged me in his videos.
Let's watch a piece of his material just for a little reaction video, because this guy is known for helping drown men in cologne, and I want to know what you think about him. I want to know what your thoughts are, and if he should be selective with the type of stuff he's putting on his body, man.
Well, I would assume if he's pretty dialed in that he would recommend people to use a subtle fragrance. It's really not attractive to be using a lot where people can smell it from 8 feet away. So I would assume he would be in the less is more camp, like a refined but subtle fragrance. But yeah, no, there's literally
a broken fragrance bottle, no problem. And I call this video best broken fragrance bottle because I like the word best. But I don't recommend fragrances anymore.
He doesn't recommend it anymore. He said he doesn't recommend it anymore.
No.
I guess you didn't expect that. I like Amouage Interlude 53, but this is better. And why is
That's
the original
insane.
better than the...
Anyways, this guy's gone famous with 3.4 million followers.
Yeah.
Helping drown men in fragrance.
Yeah. It's
Are there any colognes guys can wear?
just be healthy, be attractive, have good hygiene, and you'd be surprised. Your natural scent is there for a reason.
The pheromones.
The pheromones.
Talk about the pheromones and attraction.
Like women will tell me that I date, like I love your scent, or I miss like your like being around you, like your scent. It's a powerful attraction mechanism. A lot of attraction is not just, visual. It's scent based, and it's designed to see if you're a good genetic match. And so the scent can, so one of the things, like you might have a stronger attraction to one specific girl, even though maybe you find this other girl visually very attractive too. It's the scent can help differentiate to see if someone has a good immune system match, complementary immune system. So scent is very, very powerful. And if you're going to the gym and you're wearing like a natural deodorant, you're hygienic, and you sweat a little bit, you're not supposed to stink. So someone commented that, like, I would like to wear cologne because I don't want to like stink at the gym. Like, bro, if you smell that bad from getting a little bit of a sweat, like something bigger is wrong.
Yeah, you have some detox issues.
You got some serious issues.
You got to hit the sauna. You got to sweat it out. Do you notice how much I was sweating yesterday? In the sauna?
Yeah.
I got to detox, man. The stress, whatever it is. But yeah, good, man. So no
and same
no
thing,
fragrance.
Like if I'm so attracted to a woman, her natural scent is so attractive, and like that's real. That's their natural scent. Like I don't need the perfume and all that fragrance. The natural scent like is crazy. Absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah. Anyone can go and spray Chanel No. 5. Okay. Anyone can go, but you can't create like a beautiful natural scent. You can't fake it. So the natural scent is really where it's at. And when you find someone that you just have that special attraction to, it's like that scent. It's a big part of it.
I've noticed this.
Yeah.
In the women that I've dated that I've just really fallen in love with, it's like, I miss the smell.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit primal and weird, but it's true. It's like there's some sort of like
Hey guys, Bridger here. Look, a lot of you guys send me DMs and drop comments asking me how to quit your 9-to-5 job, how to start making real money with the one skill that'll set you free financially, closing. Fastest way to get my help, text me. Text me right now, 480-520-2034. Again, 480-520-2034. I started Bridging the Gap and Freedom Closer Academy to help Gen Zers just like you overcome paycheck dependent syndrome, master high ticket closing, and build a life of freedom, purpose, and income. So if you want my help or you want to work directly with me one-on-one, I have an entire team of coaches dedicated to helping you transition out of your 9-to-5 and start earning what you're worth. So if you want to start earning what you're worth through Freedom Closing, text me right now. I've got your back. Let's get back to the episode.
Like you said, attraction mechanism that flips off in the brain. There's some sort of like mechanism that happens.
And then you just spray yourself with perfume, cologne. Every product you put on your body gets absorbed in the skin, and you're just shutting off your body's natural hormone production. So it's not just, there's a cost to it.
Yeah.
And when you remove that, your body's just healthier, way healthier, and your hormones are working much better. And so that in and of itself makes you more attractive. But yeah, people should cut out the scents to an absolute minimum.
We'll move on from this topic in a minute, but I want to talk about a couple more things that if people are watching right now, I know you wrote like the Mojo guide, how to increase. There's like 25 different tips. Give a couple, tidbits on, what is it that men need to do that they're not doing to maximize testosterone? One, minimize the fragrances and all of the chemicals and stuff. What else can they do?
Sleep must be dialed, non-negotiable. You need to get your sleep very, very good. So that means sleeping sufficiently, 8 hours a night. That means creating a very dark blackout environment. Any lights going on and any stuff is going to disrupt your ability to get into REM sleep. You also want to sleep with it cool. You want to use natural fabrics for your bedding, so not the polyester. There's a lot of synthetic fragrances. You want to be sleeping in a natural environment. So sleep is good, okay?
Sleep.
Second one, you must be lean. You have to be lean. You cannot be overweight. You cannot be 18%, 20% body fat.
Some guys think they can get too lean. Is that true?
You can get too lean, but it's extremely rare. Like you walk around the street, how often do you see someone that's too lean? Like never. It's very, very rare. I was in London, Trafalgar Square, and it was just loaded with hundreds of people. And I just, as a fun experiment, I was like, everyone, best case scenario, someone had 25 pounds of fat to lose. Everyone was walking around with 30, 40, 50 pounds of fat. no one was in shape. Like
Crazy.
no one.
Crazy, bro.
You know, maybe there's like a couple of Asian people that are fairly on the slender side, but like still not even that lean. So it's anytime you have excess body fat, and excess doesn't mean super overweight. It just means like you have like 15, 20 pounds of fat to lose. Fat converts testosterone to estrogen, right? So any excess fat you have is going to lower your testosterone levels and increase estrogen. Furthermore, when you're having these different toxins and chemicals that get exposed through the mouth, through the skin, into your body, where do they get stored? They get stored in fat tissue. And as you're accumulating more and more fat tissue, you're creating more sites to store these chemicals. And when you strip off fat, what happens? When you strip off fat, you actually release these chemicals. And so the leaner you are, the better. And when you're in a deficit, it's a lot harder to store these chemicals in body fat. When you're in a constant deficit, you're stripping off fat. So one of the best safeguards for this chemical exposure of hormone disruptors and microplastics, phthalates, scents, is being lean. So be lean, get good sleep, eat a solid, nutritious diet. So a balance of fruits, okay? There are some people in the carnivore camp that are anti-vegetables, okay? I think that's crazy. The research is very, very clear. Like, vegetable intake is good for you. Broccoli, cauliflower is also very helpful at stripping away excess estrogen from your body. So broccoli and cauliflower is very, very healthy. Like, you want to be eating broccoli, cauliflower with dinner at least 3-4 times a week. Steak, incredible. Steak and eggs, just a powerhouse of nutrition. So I recommend getting lean cuts of steak, high quality steak, ribeyes, strip loins. Ribeyes are a bit fattier, but ribeyes, strip loins, fillets are really what I like to rotate. As well, you know, eggs are incredibly nutritious. Salmon, fatty fish, high in omega-3s, really, really good for vision, mood, brain development, health, it's anti-inflammatory. So if you're not a big fish guy, you want to be using fish oils, omega-3s. So that's really, really important. And then, fruits, and you can be playful. You can fit in like different desserts. I'll have a little bit of, cookies. But again, if you're getting a cookie, like look at the label. A lot of these foods are just loaded with vegetable oils, different, like just tons of ingredients where you want to just get as natural as you can. Why do you need 30 ingredients in your chocolate chip cookie? It's crazy. So in Canada, the celebration cookies are freaking awesome. Tate cookies are pretty good. But then, potatoes and stuff like that and sourdough bread, like you want to eat a balanced, wholesome diet, kind of like grandma's cooking, okay? You don't want to be cutting out, anytime you cut out fats or you cut out carbs, that's not beneficial for testosterone.
Yeah, I've seen this. I noticed a lot of people that'll go on these fad diets, the carnivore, the keto, all these different things. And like, these people are never the leanest. Like, I see all my friends who struggle with weight and they always do these massive swings, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's like, if you can't sustainably get into shape, you won't sustainably stay in shape. Do you want to talk about how your approach is a lifestyle approach versus everyone else in the fitness industry is just like fad dieting?
Yes. So at the end of the day, you have to have a system that works, that supports a lean, strong, muscular physique. That's number one. And you have to have a system you can sustain and follow. And not even just sustain, but something you actually enjoy. If you can enjoy doing it, then you're going to just crush it. And so my approach is, okay, if we want to get lean and maintain muscle, we need to even build muscle. So we got to be in a subtle calorie deficit to strip off fat. We got to get enough protein, balance of, fats and carbs. And then we want to structure this diet in the most enjoyable way. So I kind of go in flow with what my ancestors did, which was fasting. I fast every day. I wake up, I don't eat, I drink some water, I might have a little quinoa octane or a coffee, and I'll fast for at least 5 hours of the day. And now I'll eat like a nourishing, delicious lunch. Not too many calories, something moderate.
What's moderate for you?
For my first meal, I might have anywhere from like 600 to 800 calories. And then My big feast is when I have like 1,200, 1,300 steak, potatoes, broccoli, or I'll have like delicious steak tacos with corn tortillas, cheese, guac, have like 5 of those. And then I'll finish off my day with a little bit of chocolate or cookies, 400 or 500 calories of desserts. And so I'm at like 700 calories, right? Plus like, 1,300. So we're at 2,000, then maybe 500, 2,500. And if I'm active and I'm getting my steps in, I'll burn 2,800, even 2,900. And then that's awesome. And then it gives me some wiggle room. So on the weekends, maybe I can go up and hit like 3,000, 3,100 while, either staying lean or getting leaner.
I love that. If you're watching this, don't follow exactly what Greg just told you as far as like the calories, because he weighs different than you and he has a lot of muscle. This guy's jacked. I've been around Greg long enough to know that when people meet him, they're like, shit, this guy is more jacked than he even looks on camera. And you look jacked on camera, but people are like, man,
thank you.
He's big.
Thank you. Yeah. So the calories I'm talking about is for me.
Yeah.
And if you also are like 175, 180, low body fat, high amount of muscle, and you're getting a lot of steps in, those calories are probably going to be very, very good for you. But if you're, 220, if you're 150, it's going to be different. So it's really just based on 1, how much muscle you have, and 2, how active you are. That's really, you can get very close to predicting what someone's maintenance calories are based on muscle and activity.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like, for me, having you as a coach and mentor has helped, because like as I've grown in my physique, the calories have changed, the workouts have changed. I've been through a lot with the
now
physique.
We're seeing with the research, and I've been saying this for a very, very long time. I was one of the first people to really promote the idea of staying lean and gaining muscle. Gain muscle, stay lean. The idea you have to put on fat is completely wrong. It's actually counterproductive. And now the research is showing that you don't even need surplus calories to build muscle. Meaning if you just eat enough, if you just eat around maintenance and get enough protein in and lift heavy, your body has literally everything it needs to maximize muscle growth. So there's not a need to go into a surplus. Now, you still can do a small surplus. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not necessary.
Wow. That makes total sense though from our ancestors, right? Because how did they need to naturally evolve to survive? They had to eat the minimum to maximize their body's strength and physique. And it's crazy. Every time I've gotten the leanest and got the strongest, I haven't gone crazy on the calories. It's almost like I feel like I'm in a deficit, but I'm like eating maintenance.
Yeah, too many calories creates inflammation.
Whenever I break out in acne is when I'm pushing hard on like bulking.
Yeah, most people should eat less. Eat less. Like that's why like my system, I just found the most enjoyable way to eat less. Because if I just didn't try, I could easily put on 20 pounds in like a month. Like I could eat, like bring on whatever it is, pancakes, eggs, bacon, carrot cake. Like I can eat 5,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
It's not like, that's not a challenge. That's just like, that would be enjoyable for me. I would enjoy this. I could go to, Thanksgiving dinner and have 3 full plates of food and dessert and feel good. Like I could eat. So there's not a limit, right? There's not like, oh, I'm full. I don't want, like, I can eat food. And I think a lot of people are in that camp. So, I mean, even when I was a teenager and we do like these different camping trips and stuff, like I would be the one to be like, this is all the food we get. I'm like, it would be very depressing to me. On these camping trips, I'd have to like bring like protein bars and I'd have to like bring like 2 protein bars per day just so I didn't like starve to death.
Wow.
But people were like, holy Greg, you can eat. I'm like, I can eat.
Yeah.
I can eat. Like it's, some people think it's easy for me to stay lean. No. This has been like my life's mission, trying to figure out how to eat less, Yeah,
I think a lot of people watching you don't understand that.
The only time I can eat less easily is if you go through a freaking bad breakup, then my appetite's gone. That's the only time. A really stressful bad breakup, and then your anxiety's up, and then you just can't eat. But besides that, no.
So guys, just look at Greg's leanness on his... You can tell if he's going through something.
No, like now, honestly, now that's really not now. It's that was more in my younger days. Yeah,
I'm mostly joking, but so first off, dude, I gotta thank you for having the courage and the balls to take like a counterintuitive approach to the fitness industry, to going against the mainstream, against the grain, and getting tons of hate over the years. Even going against everyone in your family, right? You come from an affluent family. College, you know, you can go to the most prestigious college and get a degree and you'll be set, a couple $100,000 a year, 9 to 5, but you were like, fuck it. I'm going to do what I love. Talk to me about like when you're 14, 15, you're kind of younger, where this passion for fitness and like going against the grain kind of started.
Life is short. You have one life. And to me, it's crazy to build your life around pressure, outside external pressure. The biggest pressure I have is internal. What do I want to do? What's congruent for me? And so going against the grain was very natural for me because I just knew my frame was, this is my life. I want to build the life that I want, the life of my dreams, and what school teachers, what family friends, what even immediate family think is best for me is not the deciding factor. It's what I think is best for me. And people can love you and want something for you that might not be best for you. They're not inside my brain. They don't know my passion. They don't know what excites me. And I was just very dialed in at a young age. And I realized that for me, I can either be really, like, I can be a complete and absolute underachiever, underperformer if I do something I don't want to do. If I'm doing something I don't want to do, I can't lock in. I can't sink my teeth into it. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I'll put the minimum effort in. But when I'm doing something that I care about, that I love, that I see a vision for, something that is within my highest values, and I have this vision, I'm an overachiever. I perform at the highest level. So why would I go into school to appease friends, family, doing something that I can't sink my teeth in, underachieving, wasting my precious time, energy, years, when I can go into something where I'm just locked in? You have to find the thing where you are locked in. Now, some people can do stuff and just force themselves to put in effort, right? I can't. It's also a byproduct of testosterone. When your testosterone levels are high, it's harder to do something you don't want to do.
It's called the high T effect.
It's harder, right? Like, it's harder to do something you don't want to do. You either pluck in, you pluck out. Like, I can't explain it, but that was my experience. So there wasn't really a choice. This is my years. This is my time. This is my energy. This is my bandwidth. I have to, at the end of the day, choose what is best for me. And
who taught you that? Where'd you learn that?
Well, my father dropped out of university the last year, I believe. And he just blazed through his own path. And for me, like, he was extremely, extremely driven, and he knew he was going to be a millionaire. And at the time, like, if you rewind back to like the 70s, right, and like being a millionaire was like wildly different. Like, a millionaire in the 70s,
it's like
80s,
30 mil.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I wouldn't go that
20,
far, but
yeah,
like, a millionaire was a big deal. You could buy a home for whatever, 100K, whatever it was. It's a millionaire. Like, it was like almost like having like 10 mil, right? You know, as far as like real inflation, like buying homes and buying appreciating assets, and maybe more, maybe 15. So he wanted to be wealthy and successful, and he was unlocking that path for him, right? Starting from nothing. And there was a different time, right? To make money, you know, back then they didn't have internet, right? Yeah. So it was a different path. And honestly, like, it was a much slower road, right?
Yeah.
So for me, what I cared about, it wasn't money. That wasn't my primary driver. It was health and fitness and sharing what I loved and helping people get strong and powerful. I could read about fitness all day long. I could spend time on the forums all day long. I love pushing myself. I went on vacations with my family to British Virgin Islands and Hawaii and Costa Rica. And I would be doing little pull-ups on burpees and pull-ups on trees and training. And that's what I cared about. I was almost a little too obsessed. I found that more balance and stuff, but I was too obsessed. And so I wanted to go into fitness. I wanted to master fitness and teach fitness and inspire people. And so that was, when you have something you're so driven and passionate about, it's very hard to go against that.
I love that. I teach, my students who are in my Freedom Closer Academy, I teach them, like, if you want to live a life of freedom, true freedom, it doesn't come from having money in the bank, which that can buy some freedom. It comes from how you spend your time and what you get to do. And what I'm hearing you say is, like, you found something, number one, that you were purpose-filled in. Like, you saw the impact it had on your life and you saw the impact it had on other people's life, and you could get behind that. Yeah,
money to me is a tool. It's a tool. Ty Lopez back in the day, he called money knowledge, freedom units. Freedom units. Money's freedom units. It's a little silly term, but it's kind of funny. I view money as, because probably my highest, if you look at different motivators, my big motivator is freedom. I like freedom. Freedom's important to me. If I could make way, way more money, but I would limit freedom, I wouldn't do it. It's freedom is sort of my North Star. But of course you can't have full freedom without money. Money's part of that. And so freedom really is the North Star, and you need to have a certain level of success to achieve freedom. But again, once you have enough money to build the lifestyle that you want, right? I've spent more money and I didn't bring me any more fulfillment. Zero. Even it almost pulled me down. So there's a certain level of lifestyle that I really appreciate, and that can help unlock my highest values. And I can go get an amazing massage. I can go and buy great, steaks. I can live in a place an environment and a setup that I really, really like. And that's all great, right? But then once you start spending more and more and more, it almost pulls me down. And so you want to get to a point where you can create the lifestyle that is within your highest values. And then you can take excess cash flow, put it into appreciating assets, so that one day you can achieve the escape velocity where your investments can create enough passive income to fulfill your lifestyle. And now you're just working just because you love it. You don't want to stop working, right? The idea that you want to retire is wrong. You want to work. And again, maybe when you're 65, you're not going to be working 10 hours a day, but it's good to work and to solve problems and to work towards a goal and to connect with people. That's important. So I don't like the idea of just not working at all. Maybe, there's a time where you take a few months off and you connect and you focus on blissfulness, stillness, surfing, new things, new experiences. But to want to, if you have a goal to one day get retired and not have to work, then you're probably not in the right career or business.
I love that. So purpose-filled impact, you got to be passionate about it. You got to love it. You got to be you could do it all day, every day and never get paid, and you still would want to do that thing. You want to wake up, this is how I want to spend my day. I want to learn about fitness. I want to learn about health. That was for you. And then the other thing that I think we haven't talked about is finding, it kind of goes in line with your highest values, but finding your giftedness. You have a gift physically, genetically, and also, with your brains on how your brain sees fitness and explains it. Clearly it shows in the results you've created. So how important do you think it is to align your career path to something that naturally fits your giftedness?
Absolutely. You have to find your sort of superpower. What are you great at? You don't want to swim against the currents. You want to swim with the currents. So what are you very, very good at? And you might not know what it is. It will come out And then you also have to be honest and realize, what are you really bad at? What are the things that take you 3 times as long to do? What are the things that feel like you're pulling your teeth? What are the things that you just aren't the best at and you need to delegate? Delegation is incredibly important, because when you do the things that you're gifted at, the things within your highest values, you raise yourself up. You build up your self-esteem. You align yourself with the universe to achieve more. And when you are not delegating and you're doing the things that you really dislike, you're lowering your value and you're taking yourself off of the natural flow with the universe. And so, but again, let's be honest, there's a point, there's times when I had to do things that weren't highest on my values to get to the position where I could delegate. And so there's a time we have to do it. But once you're able to delegate, you want to do that. And then when you delegate your low value priorities, you can spend more time on your high value priorities, and success becomes infinitely faster.
Should a Gen Z, 15 to 30-year-old, right? Let's say he's just graduating high school. Should a Gen Z with a bend?
If he's 30 and just graduating high school, then we got a bigger problem. We got a bigger problem there.
Yeah. So somebody who's just finishing high school and has a bend towards entrepreneurship, should they go and enroll in college? Yes or no?
No.
Why?
Well, let's look at college for what it is, right? It's at least 4 years. Okay. So that's 4 years of time. That's a lot of time. 4 years is how long it took me to get my business to making 6 figures a year in prof. It took me 4 years. Okay. So now not everyone can do that. Some people can do it faster, right? And it wasn't like the goal wasn't just creating money, but 4 years I had a business that was online where I woke up and I was making money and it was building and growing, right? So if you do school, you are sacrificing 4 years of time, okay? And a lot of bandwidth. And you're also, there's a cost. What's the cost of university? It's expensive. In Canada, I think it's much cheaper, right? So it might cost you $15,000 a year, but in the US, it might be $50K a year. So it might be $200,000. And so if your goal is to become a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, a psychologist, if your goal is to go into a profession where you need to go and do school education, maybe you want to be a dentist, you have to do that. And you should do that. That's the path.
That's the path.
That's the path. And then the university aligns much stronger with, if you want to be an engineer, then, it makes sense. You're going to go and do an engineering program. But when you want to be an entrepreneur, 80-90% of the classes and the stuff you're learning is kind of like, well, do I need this? What is this doing? And also, like, look, university 30, 40 years ago made sense. Now everything you possibly could know is free. Available.
Yeah, it's
online.
on YouTube.
And do you really think you have like the best? Are these professors the best in the world at teaching stuff? Like, I would rather go and learn from the absolute best in the world.
Yep.
My university experience was pretty like pish posh. I was in a computers class and we were learning about outdated computer stuff. And this guy was like, okay.
They're playing Farmville.
Yeah. No, university is it's an absolute. I mean, look, if you just want to party and dick around for 4 years and you don't really care about spending the money and you want to socialize, then go do it. But if you're ready to hit the ground running and you're driven and you want to just build yourself up, make money, learn, work for free, bootstrap it, then you are wasting so much precious time and resources in university. It's
yep.
But I did the 1 year. I did the 1 year to experience it in real time and realize it was completely and absolutely overrated.
Yep.
There wasn't a moment. There was not a single moment inside university where I felt like, wow, this is education. I'm learning. This is the path for me to become successful.
Yeah.
It's the path of mediocrity. It's where most people are going. if you want to be successful, you could go to school, but what's going to make you successful is not that university experience. Not once did I feel like, wow. In fact, I just felt like university was a binge drinking culture.
It's horrible.
A party culture, binge drinking, beers, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. People just showed up to class, got drunk, partied, and it was like a party culture. There was not a moment where I'm like, oh my God, this is the path. In fact, I felt so much more inspired when I would personal train clients when I was 18 or so, and I would have successful clients that had businesses, that had successful jobs, and that was so much more inspiring and educational than university.
Yeah, I think you said something really valuable in there. It's like, okay, college is not the path. You said you'd find a mentor, right? Talk to me about the power of mentorship in your life. And, you know, who were some of your like really formative mentors in the early years that you feel like if you hadn't had, it would have taken you a lot longer to be successful?
Well, the most profound mentor that I always pay homage to is Rusty Moore. And we work together today. We work on some content stuff today. But he had a website that I found very inspiring, Fitness Black Book. It kind of went against the grain, and he was really talking about the lean Hollywood look. And I liked his site a lot, and I got excited every time he wrote an article, and we connected online. And he kind of taught me about, hey, there's you can create a fitness blog, and you can learn how to rank on Google for search terms, get eyeballs, and you can monetize those eyeballs by being an affiliate and promoting a fitness offer. And so I followed his path, and I wrote articles, and then it was a lot more work than you think. You can't just write an article. You got to write an article on your main site, then you got to go on all these blog 2.0 sites like Blogspot or Skewdo or whatever, and then write similar articles that all link back to your article, and then Google recognizes that as a valuable blog. And so like it was energy. We didn't have ChatGPT at this point.
Wow.
So like you're writing one article, and then you got to write it like 10 different ways and then link it back. But it was I liked it because I was like, oh my God, like I'm getting eyeballs. It was like the most dopamine driven thing I did. Like I was like, holy crap, people are seeing my blog, and oh my God, we're getting 100 visits a day. Now we're getting 150. And then I would maybe eventually get an affiliate sale. And then people really liked my articles, and they were doing the workouts, and people would comment on my articles, be like, hey man, I've been doing this workout for like 4 weeks, and I'm strong. This is the best workout I've ever done in my life. People are like, you need to create your own program. And I did. And people bought it. And then it just that was sort of the snowball effect. But that was sort of the early days. And it took a long time. I think like, again, it was people want results really, really fast. My first year, I made $10,000, and that was amazing.
Personal training or online?
No, I walked away from personal training.
What year?
When I was like 19 or not, you know what? I walked away from personal training when I was 20. I was personal training, but then I wanted to, once my blog made $3,000 a month, I walked away from personal training because and this is the important thing, like when you're young, you don't want to live a costly lifestyle because that will trap you.
You had a Mazda.
I had a Mazda 6 not even the 6-cylinder, the 4-cylinder, cloth seats. But hey, I thought it was a cool car at the time. I liked it. I liked it. Honestly, I liked it.
Mazda's not bad, man.
You know what? The Mazda never impacted my dating life. I just kind of liked the idea of like having a cool car and stuff, but like the Mazda never impacted my dating life at all. I mean, but if you're 33 driving a Mazda,
it's a different story.
When you're 21, it doesn't really matter. But
what 24 if I got a Mazda? Bad look?
No, you can drive I had a car breakdown. I was driving a Mazda at 24 for a while, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, you are not your possessions.
No,
you are who you are at a soul level. I agree with that. So
yeah, I've gone one. I was like at one point I was in a Lambo one week, Mazda the next week. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. But I go for women that are very they're not very materialistic.
They like the Hollywood look.
Yeah, I've never attracted like the real materialistic, in for the money kind of girl.
Interesting. So you drop out of the personal training. You're making $3,000 a month with the blog. You make $10,000 your first year. And this is 14 years ago. Are you 33 now?
Yeah, 14 years ago.
So 14 years ago. So this was in 2010.
2011. Yeah.
2011. And when did Kinobody? When did you buy the domain? How did that uncover? And what people don't even realize what Kinobody means. Like, I want to hear the origin story.
Like February 2011 or something like that.
Wow.
January, February. I was in LA, and I bought the domain, and it started blogging. Made the 10K my first year, then grew that, and then things got really crazy in like 2015. I realized that doing all this blogging was sort of like swimming against the currents, and I realized that who would have thought if I go on YouTube, it was like 10x as many eyeballs and way more powerful. So I realized that if I focused a bit more attention on YouTube, my results were faster. So I did more YouTube videos, and and at that point I got like really, really in shape, and I had some very different ideas, and just the world just paid attention to my YouTube channel.
Dude, your YouTube is what really inspired me to want to connect with you, because you had this movie star lifestyle. And shout out to the man Ty. I saw his Here in My Garage ad. I remember laying on the couch, see this ad, click on, start going down the Ty Lopez YouTube channel. Dude, and I see your video.
I filmed on like my iPhone at the time, which was not great quality, and everything I filmed was like 300,000 views, 200,000 views. It just ripped. It was nuts. Like, I was hitting the YouTube algo hard.
Yes, caught the trend, caught the YouTube algo. So I want to talk about, the mind of an influencer and a brand builder, because one thing I admire about what you've built is Kinobody is a world-renowned brand. I mean, you're getting recognized everywhere. I'm getting recognized from your brand. I'm having people saying, "Can I get a photo taken with you?" So when you started to catch this early fame, right, from 2011 to 2015, your business starts to blow up. How did you handle the fame? Do you think you handled it well? What would you do different if you caught that streak again? Because I feel like I'm gonna pop again. I want to know.
Yeah, it was a very slow, consistent growth. Like, I remember the first time I got recognized, I was at a bar in Toronto. I was like, oh my God, like this is, I was more excited than the person that recognized me. And then like it didn't happen again for, maybe, I don't know, a month or two. And so it was such a slow burn of fame. Okay. So it was very easy to handle that. And then at 24, I did the Bruce Wayne video. I hired a guy to just run that as an ad on YouTube, and just sales were ripping. Like, we were doing a 4x, spending $3,000-4,000 a day on YouTube, and it was just to an info product, pure profit. But then it was just creating so much attention because buying ads back then was so cheap, and we didn't even it was so cheap that we didn't like target a specific demographic, male 24 to 40. We just targeted everyone. So I would be in a Starbucks having a coffee, and there would be like 4 girls chilling, looking at me, looking back at their phone, looking at me, looking back at their phone. And they would like come up to me and be like, wait, are you in a commercial? Like, because they thought it was like a commercial, because it felt like a movie trailer.
Wow.
And I would walk down downtown at night when people have had some drinks, and people would be yelling, "It's the real Bruce Wayne! The real Bruce Wayne!" I get swarmed at some bars I'd go to. Like if any place that had a high amount of men aged like 17 to 25, I would just get like, at certain points, it was swarmed.
Wow. I
went to visit my younger brother at University of Guelph, and I went to this bar, and it was nuts. Men that were in their early 20s, they just knew who I was, like non-negotiable. If they had any interest in fitness, they knew who I was. And then if someone else doesn't know who I am, but then they recognized me, they would kind of get into it as well. And so anyways, long story short, the level of fame and attention just 10x'd. And so it was kind of like, it was a lot. It was a lot. And then I was in very, very good shape. And then like I started to get a lot of negative attention, people essentially accusing me of being on steroids, which I wasn't. And then that was very frustrating to me because I built this body naturally. And then a lot of people were hating, and I didn't know how to deal with the haters then. I didn't understand it. I was young, and I would just get very defensive and be like, no, I'm natural. My body is natural. I'm going to do some blood work. And the more I would kind of try and prove myself, the worse it would get. The more they would just attack. And so then I realized, and this is like psychology. Have you heard of the term of frame? I would be falling into their frame, and I would be trying to prove myself. No, you do not do that. I'm natural. That's it. I'm natural. I have the best transformations in the world. I'm natural. And it's funny, when you try and prove yourself, and the longer you talk, the less believable it is. But when you just say, I'm natural, 2 words, people believe it. And I've done for my real followers, I'll go and do blood work. I'll have my blood work analyzed by Derek Moore Plates. I will be in consistent shape. I will not have any signs of drug use, like the hair loss, the different back acne. I'm a sign of natural health and fitness. But I don't try and prove it at all. You know, aside from real showing up and doing blood work. And I don't engage with the haters. And it's funny, like it's a sign. You have to maintain the frame. And I mean, if you look at Donald Trump, he's one of the most incredible people at frame control. He can maintain the frame, and people start playing into his frame. And then once they're playing into his frame, he's won the game.
So powerful. I mean, frame is really what I teach in sales.
Right.
I mean, if prospect says it's too much money, oh no, it's not too much money. What makes you say that? You're falling into the frame. And the way I explain frame is like this pair of glasses right here. Okay? Prospect says it's too much money. It's the way they're seeing it. I like to teach, and you know, the way that I sell is quite aggressive, because I'll just reach over, I'll grab the glasses, and I'll say, no, you're on. And I throw them on the ground, I smash them, I say, try these on. I'm like, oh shit. You know, so, and I think Trump does kind of a similar thing. You know, people will say, you know, stuff. I remember I was watching like the Biggest Roasts, and it's a good thing, you know, Hillary Clinton, right, in the debate, she's like, it's a good thing Donald Trump isn't in charge of the law. It's because he'd be in jail, right? He controlled the frame. He played into it. So let's talk a minute about frame and how it impacts every area of our life. I mean, talk about dating for a second. Like when a chick is trying to shit test you in the pickup community, what is she doing with the frame, and how can a guy not fall into that?
Yeah, give me an example.
Well, let's say she says something like, oh, you're so needy, or she's like kind of a bit of a dig.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is just to be non-reactive. Non-reactivity cures a lot. And so if you just are very, very confident, very, very secure in yourself and not having this desire to prove yourself, then that's honestly one of the best cures. So just be absolutely present. Don't have this insecurity where you need to constantly prove yourself, because any sort of attraction, anything you have going for you, good looks, being fit, tall, successful, once you're insecure and that comes out, all those assets, you essentially hit the beta switch.
Yeah.
All those positive assets don't matter anymore. You could be Will Smith or Brad Pitt, and if you just get super insecure, attraction in a woman will just drop down to zero. It doesn't matter how successful, attractive you are, if you don't play the game right and you get into insecurity, then attraction fizzles very easily. Women, attraction can drop very, very easily.
Very quickly, too.
Very quickly.
But it can flip, too.
It can flip.
If you do the right things. You do the takeaway, you demonstrate high value, you become a leader, you own the frame again. It's interesting.
Yeah, and if a woman is either shit testing you or kind of talking to you in a very, very rude way, reacting isn't helpful, but it's almost like, to me, it's almost like kind of funny. It's like,
What's this chick saying?
It's like, that's one way to talk to someone. Like if you can make them laugh and realize, hey, this is not within my boundaries.
Yeah.
Then that's way more powerful. That's way more powerful. But yeah, men largely do not understand frame, and they don't know how to use frame. And if in any case, they largely jump into the woman's frame and kills attraction, and they get frustrated. And also part of frame is also willingness to walk away. And if you have no willingness to walk away, then you essentially have already lost the frame.
Yep.
So frame is also like, hey, this is the life that I want to build. This is how I'm going to live my life. I go to the gym 3 days a week. I do my fast. I meditate to Eckhart Tolle. I live here in Arizona, Scottsdale. These are things I care about. This is how I show up in my business, the people I love. It's like frame is a lot of like reliance. This is who I am. It's not that wish-washiness, right? And so if you have a employee, a business partner, a friend that's in your life and that is crossing boundaries, not respecting you, talking bad against you, late all the time, or doing things that you don't appreciate, talking negative, and you just won't let them go, you've already lost all frame. Same thing in a relationship. If you have a woman that's nagging on you, that's negative, that's pulling you down, that's telling you you're not going to be successful, why are you doing this? And then, but you're not willing to walk away, you've lost all frame. But hey, you know what? This is the relationship I want. You talk to me like this is not what I want. So if this is how you want to be, then, you walk away.
One of my most viral videos on the internet, shot in your library of your beautiful home.
Yeah.
Thank you. 10.9 million views. Here's what to say when a girl says, I want to break up. And it's okay. And by not, in the video, I'm like, by not expressing exaggerated emotions, blowing up like a female, that was a cognitive trigger to get people to chime in on that. Being grounded and centered, she's going to think, what the hell? Does this guy even care about me? Right? It flips. It's totally the opposite of what she's trying to do there. A lot of insecure women will do that.
Yeah, if your girl wants to break up with you, you're doing so much wrong. Like, so much wrong. Like,
you should just walk away.
Well, no, I mean, you should honestly, if a girl wants to break up with you, you should actually, like, this is the problem with men, is they don't take responsibility and look at what they're doing wrong. If your girl wants to break up with you, for sure you're either doing a lot wrong. For sure.
Are you down to do a little live case study?
We can do a live case study, but it's like, it's not the hardest thing to retain a girl and have her love you and want to be with you and be very, very excited. And so if you've lost the frame and the woman's not happy in your life anymore, then you should first be like, hey, how did this happen? Where did things go wrong? And try and analyze it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about in a minute how someone can, retain a beautiful woman, high value woman, keep her in your life. But I actually followed your advice and had a girl I was dating about 7 months ago. And, we got into some arguments, saw the world a little bit different. And she said some things that I was curious about. It didn't offend me. I was like, okay. And she told me straight to my face, she said, like, we disagreed on one thing, politics, right? And she's like, and this is why we will never get married. I'm like, interesting. Is that how you really feel? And she said, yeah. She's like, there's so many things. Oh, really? Tell me more. And then she started telling me, I'm like, you need to write this down, please. I said, can you write this down? So I literally had to write down. I have 3 pages. In the other room, I can go get it. You can read some of them. They're hilarious. It's hilarious. 3 pages of why marriage will never happen with this girl. And part of it is hilarious. And the other part of it is like almost like my to-do list for my next relationship. It's like, okay, I'm going to work on them and take this. Okay, this is the things I need to work on for the next one. And you want me to go get the list?
You know what? You don't have to get the list, but
I got to get the list, bro. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
All right, guys, so we're back, and I've got a list here. Okay, not a lot of men would show this list. There are some things that I need to work on, but Greg, I think we're gonna have some laughs here. Let's bust out the old list. Why marriage will never happen. Okay, this is some good shit right here.
But it's interesting when a girl is absolutely in love with you and in your frame. everything is positive, and then when you lose the frame and she falls into love, then this list is just magnified.
Dude.
Okay, let's see.
Go over some of this shit, dude.
You don't like diversity? I will live abroad for... I can't read her writing, bro.
Yeah, that's it. You will live abroad.
I will live abroad for lots you want. I can't read her writing.
I'll read it for you, okay? Okay, here we go. Number 1. We don't see eye to eye on life, God, women versus men. Any thoughts? I will live abroad for the most of my life. Bible church, she wrote down, just the Bible church. She said, I want to have lots of kids. She wants to have minimal kids. She said...
You know what?
What's that?
She was never really in your frame.
What do you mean?
She wasn't in your frame. When a woman is completely and absolutely in love with you and fully in your frame, then there's way more alignment.
No, I agree. This is why we didn't work out.
She was hard. She was hard, and she was definitely not in your frame.
Yeah, I mean, she was at the start, but then as you start to get into these deeper topics and issues, she was definitely fiery, passionate. I like a woman that's got a backbone, so she had, some thoughts. Introverted versus extroverted, lots of different things, but one that really cracks me up here. Look at that one. Can you read that?
Owns a Rolex. Owns a... Yeah, I mean,
it's a red flag, man.
It's a long list.
It's a long list, bro. That was but no, guys, listen, the reason why I like this list is if you ever get into a relationship with a woman and either A, you're having trouble either after you break it off not wanting to go back, or B,
dude, why do you still have this list? Get this out of here, bro. Get this out of here. You know what? It's
a good to-do list.
In a relationship, you want to learn from it, and that way you can be more efficient in the future, find a better partner, and then maintain a higher quality relationship. So, what were your lessons from that? What could you have done differently?
What could I have done differently? I should have cut it off the first day I started dating her, bro.
Why?
Because there was an immediate... We didn't see the world the same way. The first day, dude, I'm like, dude, this is going to be very tough to undo.
You know what, though? From my experience, it's very, very common. You meet a woman, you don't see the world the same way. And as you date and as you make love and as they open up and as you share your values, then a lot of times they can kind of understand your view of the world, and then they can... I mean, look, I've been very, in Canada, the idea of Trump is like insane. Like Trump, there's so much reaction. And I've been on dates and even dated women, and they despise Trump. And I was like, no, he's doing some good stuff. He's good. And sure enough, they kind of were like, maybe not like Trump. They weren't like, go Trump, but like they kind of were, understood it, and the reaction and reactivity dissolved, and they were like, okay, they're just way more balanced. But it's okay to have a complement style. You don't necessarily want to find someone that has the exact same viewpoint as you, the same emotional response as you. It's like if you're very business oriented and very financial oriented, like there's different on
the edge with Greg.
Genetically, there's people that are going to just be naturally shift more to democratic policies, and people that are naturally you need to have that balance. That balance is good. And if you have a partner that is really empathetic and cares about different charities and helping those in need, that's a good balance to have. For sure.
No, I think you're right. Interesting. Okay.
But like now, like the just Democratic parties have just gotten insane and wild. But it's okay to have that balance. You want that balance, the yin and the yang.
Dude, I gotta give you a shout out. Yeah, I gotta thank you, bro.
Why?
For your service. You shouted out Trumpy, dude, for the election. It's November 9th, and I called you, and I was worried. I was like, man, dude, I don't know. Is he gonna pull through? The Canadian had to walk me off the ledge.
I said he will win.
He said he will win.
Absolutely.
Why were you so certain?
The writing was on the wall. It was very, very clear that Trump was going to win. I mean, for many reasons, but for one, people were not ready for Trump to be in power in 2020. It was just, there's so much resistance against Trump. People were extremely reactive. They wanted a leader that wasn't gonna have as much division. And you know, with the COVID, the pandemic, there were some things that weren't as aligned with the level of free speech was limited. It was hard to speak out. People were getting canceled left, right, center. And then we tested Biden-Harris. We tested it, and things got bad. The world was just not working. And so people were kind of like, yeah, life was better with Trump in power. People kind of were like, okay, you know. So all that reactivity and Trump is X, Y, and Z that the mainstream media's propagated, people kind of saw through that, and they didn't respond to that as much. That's kind of one reason. People wanted Trump back. That's literally the first one was people wanted Trump back. Secondly, Kamala Harris was like, I couldn't imagine a worse candidate than Kamala Harris. She was like the most disliked vice president. She wouldn't go and do like real interviews. She was very, very like unclear about what her actual policies were. That was one. And then also basically, the betting odds favored Trump. Money doesn't lie. A lot of the market, international markets adjusted expecting Trump to win. You know, the owner or the CEO of Apple was calling up Trump. People are calling up Trump, expecting him to win. And so like the writing was really on the wall, and he was just dominating the algo. The algo is so important. These days, you must win the algo. He was winning the algo. He went on Joe Rogan, they got 50 million views. He was on all these podcasts, the comments. He just crushed the algo. The algo is what wins elections now. And he just beat the algo. And so, and also like the fact that people were calling it a very, very close contest just meant Trump was going to win, because like historically everything underestimates Trump. So if it's called a tight election, then Trump's got a massive lead. Because, you know, even in 2016, it was supposed to be a landslide in
for Hillary.
For Hillary. And so like the fact that they were calling it a close thing just meant that Trump was going to win. Wow. But people were ready for Trump to win. And I think that, you know, whether you dislike Trump or you like Trump, things are going to get good. He's a protector of free speech, which is probably as anti-fascist as you can get.
Yeah.
And stuff going on in the world, Russia, Ukraine, and, you know, with the Middle East conflict, I think is going to start to get better.
Appreciate you for doing that. I was like, Greg, can you say something?
Well, I just told people, ultimately I told people it's important to vote, and maybe you don't like either personality. Don't focus on the personality, look deeper and focus on what are the policies that are going to support America, support your life, support the economy, support safety, support anti-war, and look at the policies. It's okay if you don't like the person. If you don't like Trump, that's totally fine. Maybe he rubs you the wrong way. But what is the policy that's going to make America great again? And I remember even in whatever it was, in 2021, I was in Miami, and I was talking to some like real Democrats. And they were like, oh, life was better with Trumpy. They were, you know, they're like, they had such a hard time wanting to vote for him, but they were like, life is better, man. And it's like, take your emotions and ego aside.
Yeah.
You know, drop the ego and the emotions. And it's even like I have a close friend that's been a lifelong Democrat, and he's in Seattle, and he's like, people are really hopeful and they're really excited, and they like what's happening, and they're happy that Trump's elected. So like, people were just ready for Trump. They wanted a change. They saw how crazy the Democratic Party was becoming with, you know, trans women and trans people in women's sports, and, you know, supporting in children.
Yeah.
You know, gender affirming therapies and stuff. And it's just, things are just getting completely and absolutely out of control. And there was a lack of really solving problems with the border. You know, even there was a time, and this is also why I kind of fundamentally appreciated Trump, because it's hard to go against the grain. It's not easy. And very few politicians had the balls to be like, there's a massive problem with illegal immigration. We need to build a border. That was like, people are scared of getting canceled for saying that. So you need a politician that isn't scared of going against the grain and saying a real problem.
I think most people in their own lives need to start standing up for things.
Bro, I remember I saw it when Trump came into office. I saw it in real time in like 2016, 2017. Like every week on the news, there's like ISIS beheadings and horrible stuff, and defeated ISIS quickly. It was just defeated it quickly. That would not have happened under Obama.
Yeah, it was quick. I mean, it was so quick. Yeah, I think it's going to be a golden age for America. I think it's going to get done in one term what most presidents get done in 4 or 5. I'm really grateful, really hopeful. I thank God almost every day now for Trumpy. I like Trumpy. I'm a big fan. And so I want to transition into how our paths crossed.
Okay.
You know, I was in 2015. I saw you popping off. I saw Ty Lopez. That's how I found you. So shout out to Ty for getting out there.
Yeah.
And I click on his profile and I go into YouTube on his channel. I'm on my phone and I see this like movie star lifestyle. And this young guy, it's a selfie of you and Ty at the mansion. I'm like, who is this young cat? Let me click on it. 24, and you just had this charisma, this confidence. And you were the only one that was jacked. It seemed like everyone was magnetized towards you. I'm like, dude, who is this rock star? And I'm like, dude, I got to become like this guy one day. And then I started following your program. I bought your Greek God program, started to follow it. And then I got sick, so I couldn't use the program. And so while I was, basically bedridden with Lyme disease, we didn't know I had Lyme, but later we found out. I'm watching your content, bro. And that was one of out of the couple things that helped like keep me alive, I think. It was the hope and the inspiration of watching your content, bro. So I thank you for doing that. And, after I got better, I was like, I'm going to get back on his programs. I'm going to transform my physique. I want to be confident. I was like, I thought about it and I was like, dude, I got to meet this guy one day. I got to thank him. And so a lot of people ask how we met. I started, creating my own content, sharing my transformation on your program. Started off one of my first posts, 17.5 pound pull-ups for 5, and then 20, then 25, and I built it all the way up to like 80. And then I think it was about a couple months after that, maybe 4, 5, 6 months after I created my Instagram account and started sharing, I went to one of your posts and I was like, guys, you did a promo for the Greek God. And I was like, guys, if you're doubting the program, because you were getting a lot of hate then. People thought you were unnatural. John Skywalker was just around the corner. Like a lot of hate.
Yeah, that one really went well though.
We'll talk about that. And so, jumping back in the story, I'm creating this content. I go to your post. I'm like, guys, listen, this program's legit. Here's my transformation. It's on my page if you want to check it out. Thank you guys. Best investment I've ever made. You got to grab it. And do you remember seeing that comment? And what was your reaction when you saw this young kid? You clicked on the profile. You saw
you stood out. You stood out to me. You achieved a very, very awesome transformation. You shared it. And so you definitely stood out to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, because part of the reason I want to share this story is not to necessarily pump me and you up, but it's like a lot of people ask me how we became like friends and mentors because they want to find their own mentor. So, I stood out. What were the qualities that stood out that you feel like if someone's watching this, if they demonstrated?
You have to be an action taker. If you want to align yourself with a mentor, you got to be an action taker. You got to be on the freaking mission to success. You got to be doing stuff. Go, go, go. You want the mentor to look at you and see himself in you and also see like, oh, this guy's going to become successful with or without me. So you need to be an action taker. The thing that pisses me off more than the thing that I'll get people that are like, that will DM me being like, hey, I just, I'm starting my Instagram page. Can you shout me out?
What is this?
Is this
charity?
Is it like, I'm just confused. I'm like, never in my entire life starting my business did I ever think that I could ever just, hey, can I get a shout out? Like if it just blew my mind. Like, is this what people think? Is this how you become successful? Like, no, you do not. They're not free handouts.
We live in the most entitled generation in the history of the world.
It blows my mind. Or I'll get people that are like trying to use and steal my time and ask me a bunch of questions, but they haven't even started anything. And what I've learned, because I used to like help these people in the past, I learned that if they hadn't started anything now, they're not going to. Like, they need to be on it now. The train has to be leaving with or without you. If you're trying to get some mentor to help you start, then you're gonna fail. You have to be the person that.
There we go. Sorry about that.
But you know
Train's
what?
leaving
Yeah,
now.
you were an action taker. You were crushing it. I obviously it was endearing. The impact it had on your life, and you created like value for me as far as like a transformation and proof and stuff. So you want to create value for someone.
Yeah.
And find a way to offer value. If you produce an awesome transformation and go the extra mile and not just do a before and after photo, but do a video and share it with your audience, that's value, right? So I feel like reciprocating, right? Humans, we have a natural reciprocation response. If someone gives us something, we want to reciprocate. Yeah.
Wow, it's very, guys, I hope you're taking notes, because this is like going to be a masterclass on attracting and finding a millionaire mentor. So, okay. So you see the transformation, adds value, it builds up your brand. You take the transformation, you post it, and then you and I are kind of in contact because now you know my stuff. Do you remember the DM?
Yeah, I don't remember anything except like I went on Instagram, I said I'm doing a video shoot, I'm getting some of my customers or like clients in the video shoot, and then Bridger reached out to me, you reached out to me, and you were basically like, I want to be in the shoot. I'm like, dude, this is a shoot in Toronto. You live in like Idaho. Like, it's not like I'm not paying people to be in the shoot. Like, it doesn't make sense for you to come. And they're like, no, it does. Like, this is so important. This is the most important thing I'll do in my life. Like, I have to do it. And I'm like, no, Bridger, like, you don't even have a passport. This is in like 3 days. Like, don't come. And he's like, no, I'm gonna come. And I'm telling him, so I don't want to let him down. I don't want to spend money and do all these steps and come just to be in like a little video shoot and have a couple shots. I'm like, anyways, he didn't listen to me, and he was like, I got a flight, I got a passport, I'm coming. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, you can stay at my house for a couple days. And then he just showed up, and he just had a lot of energy. He was endearing, and he was just very raw and real. And I'm just like, okay. So we kind of talked a little bit, and then it's very rare to see someone young that's so ambitious and driven and hungry. So that was like, I respected that,
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah.
But his head was in the clouds. Like, sometimes his head was in the clouds, Like, we were driving, I had this Lambo, and we're driving in the car, and he's vlogging the camera, and he's just like, yeah, Kinobody, we're gonna be doing this, and we're gonna be doing that, and like Kinobody is it's gonna be like the biggest thing in fitness. We're gonna take over, we're gonna hit the billion mark, then we're gonna scale. And I was like, that was fucking hilarious. That was the funniest thing I ever heard. We're gonna hit the billion mark, then scale. I'm like, this guy's comedic genius. And then I finally realized, no, he was dead serious. The scaling is only after $1 billion. I'm like, this guy's head is in the fucking clouds. Like, that is insane. The idea that just, we're going to just get some sales and hit some nice steps and hit the $1 billion this is like benchmark. And then from there, it just was like, head was in the clouds, just absolute delusion. Like, I've never seen it. I'm a very realistic, like, let's set some solid goals and grow, and Bridger's just in the clouds. Yeah.
Oh man.
And I remember having conversations with you, and I'm trying to make you explain, right? Oh. Like, because like your idea of like growing, 20-30% a year was like pathetic. Like, that's horrible. No, we should be doubling every month, or growing like 50% every month. We're gonna be doing this, we did that. And it's like, Bridger, that's not always good.
Yeah.
Massive growth, things can break. And you also need to like build a culture, get results, and like there's a certain level of growth that's good and a certain level of growth that's like cancerous. And the thing is that when you have a long time horizon, compounding is insane. The power of compounding is incredibly powerful. If, for example, let's say you have $5 million, right? And you can create a doubling every 6 years with strong returns, okay? In 24 years, that's a doubling 4 times. That's 10, 20, 40, 80 million dollars, right? And so compounding becomes insanely powerful. And so the idea of like this insane rapid growth, you end up just crashing and burning, and then taking one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. When you understand a long time horizon and the power of compounding, it's like, it's insane. It's one of like the world's hidden mysteries is the power of compounding. Now, when you can be in incredible shape, right? And you can, like, now we're going to be able to live longer. We're going to be able to extend life.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to, at 55, feel like we're 35. At 75, feel like we're 50. And so when we can actually live a longer, higher quality life, and we can create some money, get some cash, invest it intelligently in appreciating assets, the power of life extension plus compound interest is going to be insane. So you have to be healthy. If you want to achieve maximum wealth, you must make health a massive priority, because if you can extend your life 20 years, that's an insane amount of wealth that you can accumulate through compound interest in 20 years. Insane amount, right?
Yeah.
So you must be healthy. I mean, my father, he was on his way to multi-billions, but he passed away young at 45. Had he survived and had he lived till even 70, 65, 70, 80s, he would have been on his way to multi-billions in real estate. But his life was ended short. Very, very short. And so like health is massive. And no one's really made the link and the connection between compound interest and health. If we can live to 130, if you can invest a couple $1,000,000, which again, it's not easy to bootstrap it and get a couple million. It's hard, but if you can, and you can extend life and live long and feel very healthy and energetic into, your 70s and 80s, it's going to be insane. The power.
Genius.
Insane.
Yeah, I've never heard this before. I mean, this is really smart, because when I saw the numbers, like you said, the doubling effects, when I sat down with my financial advisor, I was like, shit, I put $5,000 away a month. Yeah,
the challenge though is that if you're getting average or mediocre returns, then many times you're just keeping up with inflation, right? And so, sure, okay, great, we're getting our 7% returns and stuff like that, but real estate, buying a home is going up by 7%. Everything's going up by 7%. So you have to get good returns, right? So a lot of financial advisors will tell you like the SPY is good. It's very hard to outperform the SPY.
S&P 500?
Yeah, the S&P 500 is a solid appreciating asset. But I've recently been, the last year and a half been, going down studying the Bitcoin and looking at that and taking a pretty heavy position on that. And I see a lot of value in Bitcoin. But if you can really become good at investing and putting creating high income, okay, 2, creating positive cash flow, 3, utilizing that positive cash flow effectively, and most importantly, just becoming a beacon of health, being healthy, feeling young, looking young, and putting yourself in a position to live a long life, you're just going to achieve escape velocity. So, and again, it's different, right? So if your awesome dream lifestyle requires $20K a month to spend, then your escape velocity is going to be different than someone that wants to live a life of absolute luxury that requires $100K a month. So if you can get to the position where you can achieve, which is not easy, 10 times your lifestyle, and then invest that and compound that and grow that, you're in an amazing position, right? So for, let's say your lifestyle costs you $10K a month, it's very, very powerful to hit like 1.2 million. That's it. You're in a very strong spot. Very powerful.
Man, I hope you guys are taking notes. This is like a masterclass. And I think there's really no one better to talk about this because, you know, you do come from money. Your dad made a lot of money.
Yes.
So you're second generation. Like you have the proof. Your dad had money. You make money. Now, you know, it's looking very strong. You have third generation wealth.
Yeah. And like you know, Kinobody is very, very successful. But I'm extremely interested in resource allocation and investing. Because that's just such a power.
Yeah.
It's an insane power. And again, like when you've been building a company for 10 years, it's hard to grow and build that company 20% a year, grow. Like many times there can become like a plateau or what have you, but when you can learn how to utilize positive cash flow, build it and compound it, it and everyone has like this very, very short time horizon. As you get a little bit older, you start to kind of just see the power of a long time horizon. And then a lot of times when you're in a short time horizon, you run in circles. You do things that benefit you now, but not long term.
And the compound interest is very true as well for the opposite. If you acquire, you know, what is it? 75% Americans have 15 grand in credit card debt. I mean, that doubling is the same for credit card debt, except more. You're making 25, 30%. So I think what you're saying here is so effective.
Yeah.
What's that?
Understand your highest values.
Yeah.
What do you love to do? Find a job, a career, a business that you can do and you wake up, you're excited about doing that. That's the most important thing. You want to wake up, and that's why I started Kinobody. I want to wake up and be like, yes, like
mojo.
No one has that. Everyone wakes up, I gotta go to work. You want to wake up and love what you do. That's the most important thing. You're gonna be spending a large majority of your hours you have in your life working. So you want to love what you do, okay? And you want to delegate and move things and craft things in a way where you are excited about your job and about working, okay? Now, 2, you want to build a lifestyle that you love. You want to create a lifestyle that fulfills you. You're healthy, you're getting your steps in, you're hitting the gym, you're hanging out with friends, and you're doing the things you love. If you love volleyball, do volleyball. If you want to do a ski trip, make that happen. If you like to play chess, like build your dream life. Don't just be a leaf in the wind doing what everyone else does and being a zombie stuck on the algo, getting binge drink on the weekend, smoking weed. Like remove these vices. Be free. Create a lifestyle that you love. Build up your income. Create positive cash flow. Invest that money wisely. Become a beacon of health where you can live by 70, you feel like 50. And that power of compound interest, you're going to have so much financial freedom. You're going to create escape velocity. Once you realize we can live to 130, we can at 70 feel like 45, 50. Now it's like when you understand compound interest, it becomes insanely powerful. So you want to create cash flow now. You want to focus on 1, creating positive cash flow, 2, health. If you can do those 2 things, the world is your oyster. The world is your oyster. But again, most people, they spend everything they make and they take poor health decisions. And so they're fucked. They're fucked. Create positive cash flow and move that money into appreciating assets. Like, you know, you can do S&P 500, Bitcoin, real estate, and health. Those 2 things, the world is your oyster. I mean, just imagine just, you know, 30 years. If you're 25 by 55, if that seems like a lifetime away. It's not.
It's around the corner.
And 55, you can be lean, hot, look good. You know, look at Tom Cruise now. What is he, 59, 60? Stud still. Absolute stud.
Movie star.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, right? Obviously.
And you know what's interesting is that the male peak is 38 years old. The male peak is 38.
For what
And so-
aspect? Financially, physically?
Everything. So
Not financially. It's in the 50s, right? Or no?
yes, but listen for a second. The male peak is 38. So a lot of times if a guy is young, maybe he's 24, 26, 22, and he's not getting the results he wants in life in the dating market, you have so much time. Even you're 24, you have so much time. You're 14 years away from reaching your peak. And let me explain this for a second, okay? How old was Daniel Craig in Casino Royale?
39?
38. How old was Brad Pitt in Troy?
38?
38. How old was George Clooney in Ocean's 11?
38?
38. The epitome of masculinity, where you have the perfect balance between being refined, you not being too young and exuberant, being more mature. That most aspirational image of a man is 38 years old. 38. You're like, show any 22-year-old female a picture of Brad Pitt in Troy. Do they give a shit he's 38? You could show them a picture now. It's
they're down.
It's like age does not matter.
Yeah.
38 years old is the male peak if you build a high income skill, career, you're waking up doing what you love, you're making an impact. If you take your health very, very, very seriously, if you build a strong social circle, if you dress well and you build up your charisma, then 38 is like, that's the peak. Absolutely.
Genius. So expanding the time horizon to 38. Have you ever?
And because most men, like they have this short little time horizon. They don't understand, dude. If you're 23 and you're getting crushed in the dating market, 24. Now look, you do Kinobody, it's non-negotiable. Okay, you do Kinobody, you're lean, you're a chill movie star. Okay, you get a nice outfit, throw on some sunglasses, take some photos at the beach. You're crushing it on the dating app. Okay, but again, you have so much time to build your highest value up. And it's interesting is that if you look at the research, right? Women's value is infinitely higher at 22 than a man's value at 22. Infinitely higher. What age do women and men most likely marry?
I think it's in the 30s, isn't it?
It's 30 right now.
It's 30?
The exact same age when male and female's value intersect.
Really?
The exact same age, yes.
Are they usually the same age when they marry, though?
Sometimes yes, sometimes a couple years apart.
My parents are 8.
8 years, yeah. That's actually not as... Most people marry within the similar age bracket. At least their first marriage. But
How many times?
30.
Interesting. How many times do you want to get married? Or do you want to get married? Do you believe in marriage?
Yeah. I think marriage can be very, very good. I think marriage is very, very good. I think the idea of going into marriage without having an agreement of what is going to happen if this doesn't work out is insane to me. It is wild. It is so naive.
Yeah. We live in a fallen world.
Absolutely naive. And it's almost like you are not God. You cannot control everything in your life. You cannot control another person. You cannot control the future. So the idea that you're going to go into it and absolutely everything's going to work out and you don't need to have, look, at the end of the day, your government is going to give you the agreement or you're going to create your own. So you might as well create your own. But I think marriage is good. If you can create an agreement on what your marriage looks like, on how it's going to look, what's going to happen if things don't work out, and you both parties can agree on that, then marriage is very, very good. But the worst thing is when you do not have that conversation, you don't have that agreement, and 7, 8, 9, 10 years go by, the marriage is not working. One party's unhappy, one party's over it, and now you have to spend so much more time, emotional turmoil, bandwidth, and money going through this process with lawyers that's extremely expensive, with 2 people working with different lawyers, and you're just burning cash. You're burning money. You're creating emotional stress. Breakups are hard. Breakups are very hard. Now imagine you have to do a breakup now. You have those lawyers involved. You have to split assets. You have to pay. You have to do gold. It's like 20 times harder. So I think marriage is good if you can create that agreement. And again, like some relationships are for life. And you're going to find that person, and it's going to be for life. And you're going to have a beautiful, loving relationship with ups and downs and positives and negatives for life. And sometimes the relationship, it goes 10 years and it's just not meant to be anymore. We have to understand that. We have to accept that. We have to realize that, at least from my perspective. And the writing's on the wall. Like, the divorce rate is close to around 50%. That's a lot. If you had a business partnership and there was a 50% odds of it not working out, no matter how good and amazing it seems now, you'd be crazy not to create an agreement to protect both parties if it doesn't work out. So marriage is good, and it's designed to create a strong family unit, to have kids. So I think like getting married, if you're not having kids, is like, it's like do it, but I don't really see the point. Because you can give a lifelong commitment without having to get the government involved. But I think marriage, to start a family, is very, very good. But you have to
do it right.
You have to do an agreement.
You have to have the agreement.
You have to have the agreement. I mean,
the prenuptial.
And you have to have a fair agreement, right? If you're gonna be the primary breadwinner, and the wife is gonna stay at home and manage the house, support you, and then the marriage doesn't work out in 7 years, and she put her career on hold, and she was supporting you, then of course she deserves something. Absolutely, of course. You got to create a fair agreement. Now, if you have a business that's worth $30 million, is she entitled to half of that? I would say no.
What do you think she's worth?
This is something that someone else has to decide. Yeah. Right. But what do you think? I mean, like it depends on many variables and the partnership that you have. I mean, I think like, if you are worth $30 million and you marry someone that comes into that $30 million, then that's very, very different than if you have nothing and you meet a woman and she takes the bet and the risk on you, and she goes along that, right? She's
entitled to something for sure.
And she's with you the whole way. Like, look at Conor McGregor and his wife, right? She took a huge bet on him. I think she even like supported him.
Yeah, she did.
And so he's definitely like, he's honoring that, right? My father didn't have anything when he met my mother, right? But if you're a woman that meets the guy that's already hit the finish line, then you don't walk into half of that, right?
No.
But if you build that together and you form a partnership and that grows, and in 6 years things don't work out, then there needs to be a fair deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The art of the deal.
Fair deal.
The art of the deal. So I want to talk to you about time horizons, right? You're talking about...
And this isn't a man versus woman thing.
Yeah, you're talking about life.
It could be either or. You could have a man that is making $70K a year and a woman that has 20 million. Like, this is it could be any sort of permutation.
I like it.
But it's very, very rare that a woman is extremely successful and wants to align herself with a man that is less successful. It's not a normal thing.
Yeah.
It's very, women tend to choose men of equal or higher success, financial success and status.
Interesting.
And that's just evolutionary.
Makes sense.
That's how women evolved, and that's how their genes percolated.
Yeah. So,
and there's lots of different dynamics in how women and men select partners. If a man had a very playboy or promiscuous past, but is of high status and success, women will still want to largely marry and be with him. But if a woman had a very, very promiscuous past and maybe she was having affairs, then men are very very uninterested in forming a long-term relationship. So men are much more interested in signs of fidelity than women. Funny, crazy enough.
Yeah, it makes
They both want fidelity, but a woman, success status is more important than a man's infidelity in the past.
Yeah, it comes
in
down
previous
to
relationship.
protection, provision, and the last one, parenting, like being able to be a parent. I think those are 3 things women look for. What are your thoughts on life after death?
I don't think about it very much, to be honest with you. I really don't. I haven't really seen much. I haven't really seen much value in really going down that rabbit hole. It's crazy. Like I'll trip myself up when I think about that. But I do believe that, for one, I believe that anyone that says, "Oh, that you're dead, it's just black, it's nothing," is wrong. Mm-hmm. Part of you passes on. That presence, that beingness, energy can transform. It cannot be destroyed. Birth, life is not the opposite of death. Life is not the opposite of death. Birth is the opposite of death. Life is constant. Mm-hmm. So there is something more. There's but your ego, who you are, all of that is gone. Mm-hmm. The personality, the Bridger Rogers, like your body, your personality, your ego is gone, but that deeper consciousness, beingness goes on.
Where do you think humans came from? Do you have any beliefs around the origin
It's
of
funny
humanity?
you ask, because this is what I did my PhD in.
Did you?
No.
I'm just curious for you, do you have what's your worldview on humanity? What do you think humans' purposes are? What's the purpose of humanity, would you say, in your perspective?
Well, the purpose is to survive and replicate. It's to pass on your genes, which requires both those things. You must survive long enough to replicate. That's the purpose. Mm-hmm. Survive, and that's also why men, we want to work out. We want to be strong. We want to create success. We want to be attractive. We want to improve our chances at survival and reproduction. If you look at what the research, if you have a daughter, you're much more likely to pass on your genes than if you have a son. In fact, throughout evolutionary history, only a small subset of men actually pass their genes on. So a small subset of men, it's like 17% or whatever, 1 in 5, 1 in 6, actually procreated. So women would prefer to share during stressful times a successful man of status and resources than be with a man that was of lower status and resources. Yeah, evolution was very unforgiving. And so men, the job is to survive and replicate. That's your genetic drive. The meaning of life is I mean, look, this is not my expertise, but as far as for me, it's you want to build this is your life and you want to build a fulfilling life and you want to act within your highest values and you want to get out of your house. Don't spend all day plucked on your phone and on video games. Get out of your house. Social is the most important for fulfillment and happiness, more so than success. So yes, you need to be healthy to feel good and to live a healthy, long life. And you need to have capital and money to create freedom and to pay for stuff and take care of loved ones. But social is really where you're going to find the most fulfillment and meaning.
I want to dive back into, for a minute, some of the business stuff we've done, right? Because we built some cool stuff together. We've done some things. We've done 2 projects together. And I want to talk about the lessons that, you feel like maybe I learned in that and how you've seen that kind of shape my journey. I'm curious for the Gladiator program, because it was the fourth idea I pitched to you. Do you remember all these ideas? I just kept texting you?
I honestly don't remember all
Don't remember all the ideas. Do you remember the
I
Gladiator?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay.
I mean, you know, Bridger, you're definitely extremely confident, and you're charismatic, and you're hardworking, and you get things done, and you get things done fast. You take action like immediately, and you're intelligent. Like, you are intelligent, and you're a good problem solver. So you have all these really, really powerful ingredients. But where it's been important for growth is in longevity, and in you start strong, and it's like you want things to happen so fast, and you're willing to put in the work, but you're not willing to allow time. You need to understand the power of time, the power of compounding, and there's not a rush. Okay. There's not like a rush. Like, if you're talking about business right now, this is the equivalent of meeting a girl, saying hi, and expecting her to have sex with you. Like, it's just, you want it fucking now. It's like, bro, relax, okay? Relax, go check out, go to this little cafe, go for a walk, go to this little, have this cocktail here. Just build more connection, build more. So it's like if you can take your assets and really relax, love and enjoy the journey to your goals, but don't just gotta like, because that's honestly, that was created stress for me working with you, when it was just like this impatience, this obscene amount of, we gotta, it just takes the fun out of it. It's like, let's build a kick-ass company, let's grow, let's make money, let's transform and help people, but like, let's enjoy the ride. Not like because the life is the ride. It's the journey to your goals. It's the adventure to your goals. If you can't enjoy that, you can't enjoy life. The end destination's not that great. Amazing, I bought the car and I drive it for a week and it's fun. And then, it's like, the life is the journey to your goals. And so if you can't really take away that burden, that stress, that impatience, that resistance, and just be like, fuck yeah, I know the goal's coming. I know we're gonna hit our goals. You know what? But I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy the ride now. And I'm gonna build a concurrent life where I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm getting in my good sleep, I'm crushing in business, I'm working with people I enjoy, I'm having some personal time, I'm watching my favorite movies at night. And if you can't create your day-to-day as you build up to your dream life, you gotta love it, man. If you're just taking damage and stressing yourself out and taking blows to get this future, your future will be shit. The present moment dictates the power of the future. If the present moment is not fulfilling, if the present moment is riddled with tension and stress and resistance, you will not create a beautiful future. Like, even if you look at Andrew Tate, right? He has this sort of worldview, as far as I can tell, that's like work. I work so that everyone around me, like my loved ones or kids, can relax and be happy. But it's like this stress. It's like, would I want to trade places and be in his life? Absolutely no. No, without question, no. Like, you're not going to create a beautiful, impactful, fulfilling future if everything is war and stress and this. I like to live the flow state. I like to be like, let me achieve success. Let me build the life I want. Let me transform people, but I want to have my cake and eat it too. I want to have a great life and be like, I have too much money. How do I spend all this money? This is too much. Like, what am I, I want to have my cake and eat it too. Like, I like that. Not like, we're going to get this.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yes. No, you can't. Yeah.
I'm going to say that, is it safe to say, I mean, I could be wrong, but is it safe to say have you ever had your back truly against the wall where if you didn't make money, some bad shit was going to happen? Okay. So
twice at least.
I believe you. So let's say you're in that situation.
Yeah.
How do you create the bliss and the love with the pressure and the tension? I would love to know like how you have done that twice.
I mean, I went through I had business partners, and I went through a situation where I had zero control of the money coming to the bank, and I was in a position where I had to use lawyers, and that's very, very expensive, and I had to restart in a way, and I wasn't sitting on tons of money, and that's how like I like created movie star body was because I had to create a new mechanism to build my business and transform people because I had zero control over Kinobody and Warrior Shred and Greek God. And so my back was against the wall because my bank account was going down. I didn't have unlimited money. And I had lawyer bills and I had zero control over like the bank accounts and stuff. And I created Movie Star Body and I did like a info product launch and made $400,000 in a month. And that helped a lot.
That's a great story, dude.
Yeah. I had my back against the wall a few times. I mean, I've also like, I've had, investments where I was up $4 million and down and I've had, I've had situations where I needed it to succeed or it wouldn't be good. And when you have a business, like it can be expensive, right? So like there's not a huge difference between making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in profit or losing a couple $100,000 a month in profit. Like both can happen. Yeah. So I've had the back up against the wall and I love it. That's when you fucking turn on. You're like, I gotta make shit happen. Yeah. I have to figure this out. But it's you accept it. You cannot resist the situation you're in. Yeah. Accept it. Fuck. Yeah. I could have made some better decisions and I wouldn't be here today if I would have made these decisions, but I can't beat myself up about it. I'm here where I am. And this is the cards I have and here's what I need to do. And whenever my back's been up against the wall, I've usually come out pretty fucking on top. But I don't resist it. I accept the situation. And then I'm like, your brain opens up and you have new ideas and new things just happen. But that's good to be in the flow state and just to accept. You cannot enter the flow state if you're resisting the situation. Like, fuck, shouldn't be like this. I should, you just be like, here's where we are. Bro, I remember being so fucking pissed. I was going for a walk and I was going through this like, I was essentially getting screwed. And I had like this bottle of sparkling water. I fucking chucked it against a wall. Just fucking, I was just, my baby, the thing I love more than anything, right? The thing I built, my life's blood was getting taken away from me. And, and there was even before I really hit that point of awareness, I was drinking and partying, kind of almost avoiding, but I have had that period a few times of being the back against the wall. Now, obviously I had a roof over my head. I had food. I had some personal security, but as far as really my business and what mattered to me and really building my own empire and my own meaning, my back was against the wall for sure. So it's on it. There's pros and cons to everything. When you are sitting on $15 million and you have a profitable business and you have models that want to hang out with you in Ibiza and Miami, then maybe you're not going to have your most genius ideas, right? Yeah. But when your back's against the wall and then you got no choice, man. And your brain opens up. So don't beat yourself up when the back's against the wall. And it's not always just about working hard. I got to work 10 hours. I got to dial the phone. It's like, how do I work as intelligently as possible? Your time is limited. Your energy is limited. if you can apply that to a much higher ROI path, that's when you succeed. So it's not just, I got to work the hardest. I got to do the most. The world doesn't reward just working hard. If it did, then the people with the most money would be like the people that doing construction, literally in the freezing cold winter. It's not just about working hard. It's about working very, very intelligently. It's a managing human capital. It's delegating. It's recognizing your highest value. It's like creating the right strategy. The difference in output from applying your energy and resources in a very, very powerful, effective way and in something that's a little bit off is massive. I mean, look, if you can have an offer or a business or a product or a service, an offer that you promote that just fucking rips, or you can have an offer that just doesn't. And if you're spending money, you're doing paid traffic, you're doing X, Y, and Z, it's just like the difference is night and day. So it's like, it's intelligence.
Appreciate you sharing that story. And it reminds me of a quote that I'd love for you to love for you to share.
Yes, please. There's no patting your back for working hard. Okay. That's just a given. You should work hard. People that pat themselves back and, I worked 12 hours a day, I worked 10 hours a day. You did fucking bullshit. Okay. Yeah. Do not get any pat on the back for working hard. There's no pat on the back for working hard. Good, you worked hard, but you know what? It's better to actually, what did you move forward? What did you get done? If you can do the same amount of success, of accomplishment in 5 hours than 9 hours, you should do it in 5 hours. And then you should just relax and recharge. Sometimes your best, I talked about this with some successful people on a podcast yesterday. Oftentimes your best ideas are when you're not thinking about work.
I've noticed that.
Or you're outside of the office, you're outside of your work environment, you're in a shower, you're at the beach, you're going for a walk, you're having a cocktail, and it's like, boom. So it's like, write down your main things you want to accomplish for the day, get that done, but don't freaking pat yourself on the back because you did 12 hours, okay? I don't care about that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything.
So I was going to ask you about a quote. By the way, I love what you said there because I think it's about moving the needle and getting leverage and creating results. Results pay, hard work doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at the hardest working people. Construction workers, $17 an hour. I can go in and close one deal and make more than they make in a week. One call. Because
they must be making more than 17 an hour.
I mean, some are making 17 an hour, bro, on the low end. Yeah. Like literally doing concrete. I know people because I've closed them.
Oh, wow. Shit, man.
$17 an hour, man. I mean, that's great money. I used to get paid $7.85 an hour to push carts. Could you even imagine yourself? Did you ever work a job like that? What was the job before Kino? You had something, didn't you?
I never worked a real job in my life. I didn't.
I appreciate the honesty.
I had very little experience at any sort of jobs. As a teenager, I wanted to have my own money to go and buy video games. So I went around my neighborhood with a paper that I was babysitting because I got certified. So I babysat kids. Which sounds a little feminine, but really all I did was hang. I actually love kids. I like my nieces. Oh my god, I love kids. I just hung out with kids for 2 hours. They went to sleep, and I just watched UFC and was like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, then the parents would come home. And I'd get $40. I'm like, that's almost a video game. So it was like my friends would go to parties and they would go to the movie theater and spend money on a movie. And I would just watch UFC and make $40, I don't know, $20 to $40, whatever. Yeah, 20 to 40. Yeah, I'd make $7, $8 an hour. So I would love it when the parents come home at 2 a.m. because I'd be I the worst babysitting I ever did. I babysat as a teenager because you couldn't get a job. So the worst babysitting I ever did was when I showed up at noon to hang out with kids for till 8 o'clock. That was a fun movie. So that was 8 hours. I sucked the life out of me. I don't know how people deal with kids for 8 hours.
Just wait till you have one.
No, I'm love like my nieces, and I love being with kids for like an hour or two, but 8 hours all day, that was the hardest work I've ever done in my life. There's nothing I've done harder than hang out with 2 kids, take them biking, and they're hungry, or this and that. I remember just feeling like nothing I've ever done in my life has really been like, I would rather do any other job than hang out with 2 kids for 8 hours. But when you just hang out with them for like a couple hours, they go to sleep, and then you watch UFC. That was amazing. So that was the first job I did. And then I did personal training. Even at 16, I worked for free. I interned at the gym and stuff. Okay. And I even one of the guys at the gym, I was 16 and I didn't look any old. The oldest I looked was 16. Okay. I was 16 and the max I passed for 16. But like this guy at the gym was just like anyone that came in that wanted to like join the gym, he'd be like, this is Gro Gallagher. He's 20. He looks young. He's one of our top trainers. He's going to show you the gym and all that. And I had to like act like I was like this expert trainer at 16 and showing people around the gym, and like getting them to sign up and talking about like working out and their goals.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, and then I did actual personal training, and then I worked under one gym under like a head trainer, and I think that was sort of it, pretty much.
I mean, dude, what a blessing, right? To be able to do what you love and jump into that. Very cool.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, I've done different investments, and I've done some film stuff a little bit, but and some like fitness model photo shoots when I was much younger. But no, that was pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, I just
jump straight into doing what you loved.
Yeah,
I think there's no better way to do it. I mean, look how it's paid off for you, right? You've just stayed in one lane, didn't get distracted like the longevity that I'm working on. Okay, sales training, hold me accountable. Okay, I'm locked in on that. But it's like, dude, I mean, I'm only a year in. I'm already seeing it's paying off.
Yeah, I had a fitness site I created when I was 18 in university called My Jacked Life.
Oh, sick.
And it was like
Jacked Life.
It was like $10 a month. It was like kind of like some sort of site. And
little porn.
I made like $800 a month on that. But
did you?
But then I realized most of the customers were looking for a little more than I signed up for. So
only Greg.
I deleted that real quick. I was making $800 a month, just being like, they just want to know about my workouts. And I was 18, shirtless, teaching workouts. They just want to know about my fitness advice. No, they wanted more than that. So I deleted that. But I could have kept it going. It wasn't. I wanted to transform people. And it wasn't that wasn't the path.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was kind of cool at the time. Like at the time. Well, actually, no. It's my mom's family friend / lawyer. Because she was like, "Oh, I heard you're doing some fitness thing." I'm like, "Yeah, My Jack Life." And she's like, "Greg, they're not watching this for your fitness tips." I'm like, "Okay, I'm deleting this." I was naive, bro. I was naive. Yeah, I was naive.
Okay, here's the quote. Your father used to say something along the lines of like, with every adversity, there's a seed of equal or greater benefit. When your back is against the wall, do you feel like that quote kind of living out?
Yes. That's like the first door you must open to make that possible is non-resistance. Once you accept the situation you're in, you're no longer resisting it, okay? You're no longer like, oh, it shouldn't be like this. This isn't fair. And this guy screwed me. And like, once you drop that, here's where I am. You open yourself to the possibility of an equal or greater benefit. Something can come out of this. Something positive can come out of this. And so the most important thing you control is your mind. And perception is everything. And when you constantly reinforce a negative perception, you can go through life and paint a negative brush on everything about how it's unfair, how you're unlucky, how this person screwed you and everyone has a chance but you. You can paint that brush. I have like family members, not like my siblings or anything like that, but there's family members, that do that, And so you can go through life and paint everything as negative, or you can do a reframe, go through life and see opportunity and see blessing and see possibility. And your mindset, your inner reality, your inner world, how you perceive things, how you see yourself is going to reflect and create your external reality. So your external world and the life you've built, your situational life is a reflection of your internal. And so you want to build an amazing life, you have to create an internal that will manifest externally. And so, yeah, that's why if I see anyone that's negative, that's always complaining, that's victimizing, this wasn't fair, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Literally, like, it's just play the game right. Take some responsibility. And sometimes it's people that sometimes it's often the people that have a good situation to begin with that do this the most.
Entitled, right? Entitlement.
It's just shut the fuck up. And again, it's an energy thing where when you're around it, there is a level of it rubbing off on you, that energy attaching to you. You do not want to be near that energy. So you have to tell them, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want, like, all you want to do is talk about negative things. All you want to do is complain. All you want to do is go back to these past things. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck, like, you need a clean slate. Wipe the slate clean. Okay, boom, snap my fingers. You're 41 years old. Life just started now. Boom, make the best decision. But you're hanging on to all this, and this shouldn't be fair, and this shouldn't be fair, and oh my God, and then this is the president, oh my God, Trump's pro. It's just like, bro.
Resistance. Just release.
You must control your life. And like, that means you must control your thoughts and embed the most productive mental state. And there is only bad things can happen from diverting responsibility to everyone but yourself. It might feel nice to feel sorry for yourself. It might feel nice to victimize yourself. It might feel nice to tell people you're a hard done by person and this hasn't been fair. It might feel nice and you might appreciate that. It feels good. But the cost to that feeling good is your life. You're just going to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose. And it's hard to look at yourself and be like, I did make a bad decision here. I could have played this game differently. I fucked up. And this is when my girlfriend didn't want to be with me anymore. And I was just being lazy. I wasn't setting my goals. I wasn't saying what I was going to do. I was overly latching onto her. It's hard to take responsibility. It doesn't feel good. Actually, but eventually it does. It does feel at first, but then it feels good because like, wow, I have control. If you have no responsibility, you have no control. If you have no responsibility, what is it in Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. So when you give yourself and you take on that responsibility, you take on power, you take on control. And that's when your life opens up. So non-resistance, take massive responsibility, and that will unlock power and control.
Dude, fire.
Just drives me crazy. And you have to catch yourself because we all do it. We all can fall into a negative state of mind. You must catch yourself. And that's also why it's so important you hang around people that are of strong mind, non-victims, people that don't just divert responsibility, people that take action, that believe. And my father was better at doing this than anyone. He was just like a man of absolute self-belief. No matter what is in the way, we can do it. We can accomplish it. We can set a goal. Like he liked it. It's like you don't want movies. Every single movie has one thing in common. There's a major conflict that you must overcome. And so we watch movies to see a character rise above and handle this conflict. But when it happens in our own life, we're like, fuck, this shouldn't be fair. This isn't fair. The thing to do is create a silver lining in that. Yes, we got something to solve. This is what life is. This is good. Let's figure this out. Let's get through this. And so my father was very, very just, no matter what problem you have, we're going to solve it. We're going to get through this. Let's create a goal. Let's create a plan, you know? Like I was a little bit, I was not going to lie. I was a bit slightly probably on the spectrum, but I didn't realize that until I like re-engineered my life. But I had all these different sensitivities as a kid. And so I remember my father was in the hospital and I didn't see him very much, but I could call him. And I think like my mom or our nanny, whatever, came back and bought all these underwear, and they were so itchy. I couldn't wear these underwear, and I was stressed out with this underwear. That my skin was too sensitive. I was like, and my father was like, Gregory, don't worry. I'm gonna take you to the best store. We're gonna get the softest, the best underwear. You know, this will be the best underwear you ever wear. Don't worry. We're gonna get the best underwear. And then I never got new underwear, but just him telling me that, I was like, oh yes, I felt good and I was fine.
It's a closer.
So it's like any problem you have, we're gonna create the absolute best solution. We're gonna solve it. It's like you almost get excited because yes, now we get to have if everything's amazing and perfect, then there's nothing to work towards. And so it's also good, like it's also a good kind of lesson when you're working with people and someone's got a problem, they want to be like, hey, we're gonna find the solution here. We're gonna solve this problem. We're gonna get the best underwear.
That was a good clip.
The best underwear. Oh. We're gonna get but I was like 10 years old, stressing about this underwear. It's like itchy. It didn't feel good. I need so
some good underwear. And you felt like your father was just always positive, optimistic, was selling the dream.
Well, he was just very goal oriented, problem solving, and humorous. You know, whenever someone's stressing, if you can create humor, like the best underpants, like you create humor and you get people laughing, then it already solves it. Then what happens is, when you're in a negative frame, the easiest way, and this is in dating dynamics and anything in business, the easiest way to get someone out of a negative frame is through laughter. That dissolves the frame. And so when I'm stressed about this, but I'm laughing about we're gonna get the best underpants. And I'm just picturing my father he's probably in this hospital, in his chair, in his probably his gown. The nurse is there. She said, "We're gonna get the best underwear. We're gonna get the softest underwear." You know, so it's just. But yeah, no, he was very much like that, but then also could be extremely hard on anything where you're not putting in effort. So there was that strong sense of like, we're gonna break through this. Whatever your goals you have, we're gonna accomplish it. We're gonna succeed. Anything you want to do, if you want to put in the work, you'll achieve it. So that was essentially his mental model, was anything you wanted to achieve, if you're willing to put in the work and work fucking hard and have dedication and persistence and push through, which very few people are willing to do, you will achieve the goal. And that's also what, Ty even was talking about this recently, but like the number one signal of someone that will be successful is grit. It's perseverance. If you have a goal and you're willing to push through long enough, if you're willing to dig long enough, you'll reach that goal.
I think that's, for me, one of the things that I noticed as well, studying successful people, is they encounter large resistance of failure where the average person would succumb to it.
I failed so many times getting lean, getting below 10% body fat. I failed. I couldn't stick to it. I'd gain weight. I'd eat. I just never gave up. Never gave up. Most people are like, 8% body fat's not realistic. I should just stay at. Most of the fitness coaches are just like, it's not realistic. It's 15%. But I cracked the code, and I'm like, wow, I'm eating my steak, potatoes, and cookies, and I'm fasting. I'm getting my steps in. I just figured it out. And there's also a mindset I had to unlock to achieve it too.
Dude, this is crazy. I feel like we could go for like 5 hours, man. There's so many more questions I still want to ask, but you know what? We're gonna kind of start to wrap. But it's just, I think, when you've been in and around so many successful people that you have, and you absorb the lessons, and you're intelligent, you ask questions, I really think it's very difficult to not be successful.
There's a common mindset that you see, or outlook that you see with people that are successful, and there's a common outlook and mindset you see with people that are very unsuccessful. And that is crucial. Crucial. And again, like, everyone has to pick their own level of success that they want. And for some one, it could be they want to become like a billionaire. And for some person, it might be they want to make $300K a year. So it's like you have to determine and decide your own level of success and how far you want to take it. And there's no right or wrong answer. And you have to live congruently to who you are, your highest values. And am I the person that cares the most about having as much money as possible and building the biggest possible business I can? That's not me. For me, that's not me.
Wow. Writing your own movie script of your life and living it.
Yeah.
That's what you have done. That's what you teach. And that's what you've helped me do.
I'm not a greedy man. Like 90 mil, 100 mil, I'm okay. I'm not greedy.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I know. In that though, I think we were talking offline, and we'll start to wrap with this is, the money and the cars are great and stuff, but like you live this lavish lifestyle, Greg. You have all these models you hang out with. You're on these yachts. You're making this money. You're changing all these lives. But talk to me about like when you're actually the most fulfilled and happiest. Like, what does the pattern rhythm of life look like for you?
Dude, my most fulfilled is like my simplest life. It's waking up, listen to a little Power of Now, just getting outside, letting the sun hit my eyes, having a coffee or Kino Octane and feeling the caffeine, and going for a walk, getting my steps in, but like writing. Like, I was in Costa Rica and like, had an amazing energy, just felt very, very good. Lots of nature, no 5Gs. And I had the coffee, I was outside, I was in the sun, and I was walking, and I felt so present, so connected, so alive. And I went on I had my phone on airplane. I went on my phone. I was just writing out my goals. I was writing these goals and achieved every single one quickly. And it was powerful. I had the same experience when I was 23. I was in Mexico with a girlfriend at the time, and I was out in the sun. I had a coffee. I was looking out at the ocean, and I wrote down these goals on paper, and I accomplished all those goals. And one of them was becoming a millionaire before 25. I hit it, or by 25, I hit it at 24. So I like to, and I don't always, it's hard for me to get in that state. When I'm in that state, it's like insane manifestation. The universe is flowing through you. And so I like to just get outside, get in the sun, have some coffee, get some steps in, and just write about my goals, reflect. I had that experience. I was in Ibiza. I had this hotel room where it was like $6,000 a night. It was insane. It was an Ibiza Grand. The only room they had left was $6,000. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, I'll take it. But I had this amazing patio. And it was maybe 6,000 euros. I don't remember. But it was just obscene. But I had this amazing rooftop patio thing with a private hot tub. And I was writing my goals there. I felt amazing. So like my happiest I am is when I'm present. I'm out in the sun. I'm feeling the love and the warmth of the sun on my skin. I'm thinking about my goals. And it's important to take the time to reflect. Because it's easy to just create goals, but that you don't emote to. You want goals that you emote to, that you feel. And that's very hard to do because you got to like really develop a big connection with yourself and be like, what do I really care about? What inspires me? What creates that emotion? What creates that passion, that love? And I just want, and it's not just, there's fitness as part of it, success, but like it's like very specific, very real, very tangible. Eckhart Tolle talks about creating the difference between a static goal and a dynamic goal. A static goal is having $10 million in the bank. It's having a mansion, an oceanfront mansion. A dynamic goal is you connected with other people. You have your beautiful oceanfront house, but you have your family over for Christmas. You have your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. You're opening presents. You're throwing a party. You're just talking on stage in front of people, and you're impacting them positively. You want to take goals from static and you want to turn them into 3D because that's life. Life is not static. Life's 3D. So when you can create a 3D goal where you see yourself completely immersed with other people, loved ones, team members, clients, that's going to be the most impactful. And so my simplest life is literally just hitting my highest values, getting my coffee and octane and walking in the sun, setting goals and journaling and hitting the weights heavy, having a great workout, eating my keto collagen Greek yogurt, sliced banana, fruit bowl with a Rice Krispie, going out and having a beautiful steak, some broccoli, some potatoes, beautiful dinner, and then just eating cookies at night and watching like a sweet movie from 20 years ago or 40 years ago. That's my, and then like if I can throw in like a beautiful girl I'm dating with the movie and the dinner, like that feminine energy, I appreciate that too. But that's my ideal day. Maybe once or twice a week I'll throw in like a Cadillac margarita and like hits my dopamine like nothing else. Then the last part of that day is just having that incredible sleep, full blackout. Like when I'm sleeping good, life is incredible. Life is amazing. Life's amazing.
You sold me. I'm getting the blackouts.
You need the blackout drapes. The shades or the shutter. The shades is bullshit. There's only two things that are good. Blackout drapes that's like 5-star hotel style. Four Seasons,
That's
St.
what I want.
Regis.
Yeah.
Every 5-star hotel you go to, they don't do these blinds. Blinds are bullshit. You
Drapes.
want full on. If you can do double, like curtain drape, double combo, full blackout, just pitch black. It could be 3 p.m. in the day. It's pitch black. You will wake up feeling freaking incredible. The most important thing for your health is sleep. When you don't sleep, your immune system shuts down. If you can sleep really, really, really well, you will live so much healthier, so much longer. You need the blackout curtains. That's massive. Your memory is way better. Your thoughts are way better. Your mood is way better. Your testosterone's way better. Your ability to push yourself hard and work out hard, lift heavy weights is improved when you get good sleep. When I don't sleep a lot, I will work out and I'll lift heavy and I will tell you it sucks. It's like, it sucks. I'll do it, but I'm like, this sucks. But when I get my really, really good sleep, the working out, I love it. But again, like it when you don't get a good sleep, it just sucks for the first exercise and then your body just turns on. Okay, we're doing it. But like the first 20 minutes sucks when you're on low sleep. And then when you have amazing sleep, you can't wait. Yes, I get to work out. Yeah. So sleep, you must get blackout curtains. The other thing that's very, very good is I was in Milan. I stayed at this amazing hotel and they had the blackout drapes, but they had mechanical shutters, these German mechanical shutters. So you press a button and these metal kind of shutters come down.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second, this isn't blackout. And then just it's like a security thing. Like
It's like bulletproof, yeah.
And then curtains, dude, I never woke up feeling better in my life. The mechanical shutters, the most powerful health investment you can make for yourself is blackout drapes.
How does that make sense though? Because if we went to bed underneath the stars, wouldn't it make more sense that the sun slowly wakes us up? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Because there's street lights outside.
Oh.
Most people that live even in my hotel right now, there's a small little window that goes outside, but then there's a outdoor light. And so there's lots of street lights. And again, if the sun comes up at 6 a.m. and you wake up at 7, then or 8, the last 1 to 2 hours of sleep is garbage. It's absolute garbage.
Yeah.
I can sleep 9 hours with light coming in for 3-4 hours. I'll feel exhausted, or I could sleep like 7 hours in absolute blackout. I feel incredible. So blackout is incredibly, incredibly powerful. But yes, if you can if you can fall asleep at 10:30 and wake up with the sun, that's also very, very good. But there's nothing more powerful than the full, absolute 100%. You wake up, you feel reborn. Your immune system is thriving. Your hormones are thriving. Like, you must get sleep dialed.
Genius. Yeah, I still have your blue light blockers. Bought them in 2017.
Awesome.
So good, man. You create some quality products. Blackout blinds, man. So, guys, if you're watching this right now and you want to find Greg on the internet, it's very easy. Where can they find you?
Kinobody.com is my main hub. That's our website. And then where I am most active and where you get the daily dose of content is Instagram at Greg O'Gallagher.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show, dude. Seriously, it's been a long time coming and really enjoyed our conversation. We'll have to have you back soon.
You know what? I was happy to come on the show, come on the podcast. You answer some great questions, and wanted to help people bridge the gap.
That's right. We're bridging the gap out here. All right, guys. If it's your first time coming across the show, I encourage you guys to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share this with someone. Share this with someone that you feel like you'd have a great conversation with, some of these topics that you could help implement, some of the mojo strategies, and appreciate you guys coming on the show. I am Bridger Rogers. This is Bridging the Gap, and we'll see you guys next time.